afternoon and welcome to the Midday News. The news is live from our studios here at Kokomlemle. It's Joy 99.7 FM here in Accra. In Kumasi, we are live on Love 99.5 FM, an affiliate across Ghana's 16 regions, including Dreams FM in Bolgatanga, Clenham Radio in Bator, Swiss FM in Ho, and of course Gaskia FM in Techiman. For our global audience, please download the My Joy Online app from Play Store and App Store to listen live around the world. In this edition, Majority Leader declares MPs are in support of the bill in principle, but will do what is right and lawful as he supports the promotion of proper human sexual rights and Ghanaian Family Bills 2021.
I don't know of any ethnic group in this country that will applaud this. But having said so, we also operate with the Constitution. We will do what is right.
But is the bill in danger of being thrown out?
You shall not proceed on a bill, including amendment to a bill, that, in the opinion of the person presiding, makes provisions for any of the following: the payment, issue, or withdrawal from the consolidated fund or any public funds of Ghana.
Meanwhile, opponents of the bill have been demonstrating in New York. We have details of that. Municipal authorities at Medina moved to pump out water from homes at Oyarifa flooded for the last 5 days, leaving many trapped and children unable to go to school.
To pump out the water from their homes as an immediate solution for them, which currently is ongoing. Some residents have called on the assembly, and the NADMO is on the ground.
We're here from the MCE. Meanwhile, Joy News is learning of a similar situation at Amasaman, where homes have also been flooded. We'll bring you details. Also this afternoon, Justice Clemens Wanyanuga had made up his mind and was just waiting to sentence our client. The comments of lawyers for former Cocoa Board CEO, Dr. Stephen Opuni, more as they urged the Supreme Court to turn down the Attorney General's request to allow the judge join the case again. In sports,
Black Stars keeper Andre Ayew has been dropped from the starting lineup against Zimbabwe. That will kick it off just in about 30 minutes.
We can't wait for details. And later in showbiz, doctor, teacher or scientist, we ask some musicians what other profession they would have gone into if they were not singing.
Professionally, I'm a biochemist. So me, I'm both an artist and a scientist. A graphic designer.
I've actually been an evangelist.
We're hearing from musicians Ohima, Mercy, Dope Nation and Flo Kingston. Please stay for details with me, Emefa Apau. And this is your home of independent, fearless and credible journalism. This afternoon, Majority Leader Osei Chairman Sabunsu says members of Parliament in principle are in support of the promotion of proper human sexual rights and Ghanaian Family Bills 2021, but says that will not stop the House from doing what is right in the consideration of this particular bill. The private member's motion, filed by Ningo Prampram MP Samuel George and 7 others, is seeking to criminalize people practicing and promoting LGBTQI plus activities. The Majority Leader says the House will be guided by the Constitution and standing orders in deciding the fate of the bill. He's been addressing a news conference earlier today.
In principle, I'm not sure any member of Parliament will be against the principle of this bill. And we have our own concepts of what is right and what is wrong. I don't know of any ethnic group in this country that will applaud this. But having said so, we also operate with the Constitution. We must operate within the ambit of the Constitution. And that is why I said we will do what is right for the people of this country. I'm aware that some people are saying that, well, do we need a bill? There are provisions in many statutes that exist already. Is it the case that those ones are not adequate? They need tightening up or what? To me, if it is that we recognize that we have statutes and that maybe there are gaps or they are not strong enough, we need some tightening, it means that we accept the principle that this whole thing is something that will not sit with public morality in this country. How do we proceed is what is before us.
That's the Minister of Parliamentary Affairs and Majority Leader Osei Chairman Sabunsu. Well, there are emerging concerns about this bill and whether or not it may suffer termination. My colleague Elton Brobe joins me in studio to tell us more. He was also at that press conference. Elton, what exactly will be the obstacle here?
Right, so MFR, admissibility of a statement, question, or a private member's motion is at the behest of the Speaker. But in admitting a private member's motion, the Speaker must be guided by Article 108, which says that such a bill should not have financial implications on the country. Now, the question is whether this particular bill will have financial implications on the country. And this is what Parliament will have to now determine before the bills go through second reading. Or Seche Mensah must be providing more answers on this.
I am not oblivious of the fact that some people have raised issues about the bill vis-a-vis Article 108, especially Roman numbers 2 and 3, which provides that Parliament shall not, unless the bill is introduced or the motion is introduced by or on behalf of the President, proceed upon a bill including an amendment to a bill that, in the opinion of the person presiding, makes provisions for any of the following. And 2 is important. The imposition of a charge on the consolidated fund or any other public funds of Ghana, or the alteration of any such charge, otherwise done by reduction. And then 3 also says, it shall not proceed on a bill including an amendment to a bill that, in the opinion of the person presiding, makes provisions for any of the following: the payment, issue, or withdrawal from the consolidated fund or any public funds of Ghana of any monies not charged on the consolidated fund, or any increase in the amount of that payment, issue, or withdrawal. I'm not oblivious of this. And I guess when we come to the bridge, we shall cross it.
Well, that particular bridge, this same question was put to the chairman of the Constitutional and Legal Affairs Committee of Parliament. Elton, stay with me. Let's hear from Kwame Enyumedu entry on this particular situation.
That decision that the Speaker made, I do not agree with that, because the substance of the bill is saying that let them be punished. If the person, for instance, commits, and I received this as one of the petitions that came to us, they argue that, well, if the person, you criminalize it and the person is sentenced to prison, who is going to feed the person? So it affects the national purse.
Well, so the majority leader had cause to raise concerns about the Speaker's conduct in referring this particular bill to the committee. Tell us about it.
Right. So he says that the Parliament will have to take a decision on the approval of the committee's report when the bill is taken to second reading. Now, the Speaker is on record to have said that he, as Speaker, will ensure that the bill is passed. Now, for Seche Mensah, the Speaker, as a presiding member, has no business determining how the House should go. And for that reason, you stay in his corner as a Speaker and allow Parliament to take a decision. According to him, comments of this nature only prejudge what is to come.
If I heard right, the Speaker was even saying that the bill is going to be passed, if I heard right. But I have a little bit of a challenge with that. Technically, the Speaker is not a member of Parliament. So the Speaker cannot commit Parliament. The Speaker can make a referral to Parliament, which will be programmed by the Business Committee for consideration. But the Speaker, I'll find it difficult if you have a Speaker who would, in spite of his own antecedents as a former member of Parliament, to say that the Parliament is going to pass the bill. It's a bit of a difficulty, unless I didn't hear well. But if I heard well, that Parliament is going to pass it, that would present some challenge. I'm not saying Parliament is not going to pass it, but the Speaker should not make a predetermination for the House, because he's not a member of Parliament, and this is the business of Parliament.
That's the Minister of Parliamentary Affairs and Majority Leader Osechi Mensah at a press conference this morning. Meanwhile, opponents of the bill have been demonstrating in New York against its passage. Irabna Hatchful is one of the lead demonstrators.
To show our solidarity with the LGBTQI community, particularly those activists in the front lines who are facing intense homophobia, queer and transphobia from the state as well as in the media. So wanted to counter this false narrative that Ghanaians support this bill. Most Ghanaians do not support this bill, and that this bill is contrary to our values and to our Constitution. We support the freedom and justice for all Ghanaians, including LGBTQI Ghanaians, and we call on Parliament to block this bill. We call on the President to veto this bill if it passes.
That's Irabna Hatchful, one of the lead demonstrators against this particular bill currently before Parliament. I'll take you now to Medina, where municipal authorities there say they've begun pumping out water from homes at Oyarifa Green Hills, a suburb within the constituency, flooded for the last 5 days, leaving many trapped and children unable to go to school. The flooding was as a result of heavy rains in the area. We'll hear from the MCE for the area shortly, but first, Manor Kranting has been interacting with some residents.
It was almost about getting to 3 years now. When this thing started, it was just a small thing. But we have a drainage system over here, culvert, which has been there ever since, before the construction of the road. But what happened was, that culvert had been sealed by one person, one part. So all the water passing through to the river will turn back and then come to my house. Almost about 8 houses have been affected. Light poles are within it, which is causing a problem. Now, I don't even have an access to the main road. I have to pass through my fence wall, get to somebody's plot before I can come out. If I want to buy food, the same thing. If I want to go to hospital, that one is a hell.
This thing, it actually started when they blocked the culvert, which was draining the water. All this water, they just pass through the drainage and enter the river. Since last year, then this thing started, since they built the bridge and then blocked the culvert.
I've been here for 2 years and I've witnessed this for, I think, 2 years now. When it rains, there's no gutter, there's nothing should be done. We'll be inside, we can't go out. We have been stuck, the children are still home. We really need help. If the state, the government can bring us pump. For now, we can't plead for gutters because it's so choke here. There's no lay to be help to create any gutters, but we need help as pump to let the water be a little bit okay so that we can go out, we can breathe well. The scent is too much.
Now, when you go to Maya, you heard her saying that she's been camped here since Thursday. She's not been able to go out, and she's calling on the president and by extension authorities within the area to come to their aid. And I see some of the kids here.
I walk in the bridge.
You walk over the bridge. Are you not scared that you may even fall into the pool of water?
I fall before.
You're falling before?
Yes.
That's my colleague Manor Kranting interacting with some residents of Oyarifa. Well, MCE Jennifer Dede Ejabing says officials of NADMO have been directed to pump out water from these homes. She spoke on News Desk on the Joy News channel.
The immediate step is to look at the nearest drainage or the nearest storm drains that are around these areas to consume the water that has gone into their homes. We have other places where during this flooding we will just use water pumps to pump out the water from their homes as an immediate solution for them, which currently is ongoing. Some residents have called on the assembly, and the NADMO is on the ground doing some of these things. But for the major ones that go or stretch beyond the homes and find itself on the street, look at the nearest storm drains around to channel some of these.
So you're saying that this has started? We've started pumping the water out of the homes?
Yes, in some areas.
So, because yesterday we were at this particular community and they still have their homes submerged in water.
In areas like Babayara, the My Hot areas where these issues have come up and residents have reported, the NADMO is on the ground doing this work currently.
So that's the MC for the area. Meanwhile, Medina MP Francis Xavier Susu, who has already served notice of a constituency-wide demonstration, says they will go ahead in spite of the MC's assurances.
Because you see everyone in Medina, in and around Medina, the trotro drivers, the taxi drivers, the pregnant women, the aged people, the sick, who are using roads like Aimensa all the way to Amaya, they all pay taxes. You know, when they go and buy fuel, they pay taxes. When they buy tin of milk, they pay, value added tax. When they get to the toll booth, they pay tolls. And so these are things that are money collected, and they are all with government. The road fund is with government. So it's government that releases. And I talk about government in this context, I'm talking about the executive.
All right.
And the executive is represented in the constituency by the municipal chief executive.
Oh, that's great, Mr. Susu.
And that is exactly what we're doing. And the demonstration that we are going to embark on is a legitimate democratic tool to express our displeasure as far as, development deficit in Medina is concerned. And
that's the Medina MP, Francis Xavier Susu there. We are also learning that the situation is no different in Obeyeye. More than 8 households there in the Gan West municipality have been caged by the floodwaters for close to 2 months now. My colleague Manuel Kranting, who reported on the Oyarifa situation yesterday, is at Obeyeye this afternoon. He will join us with live updates shortly. But the chief of New Achiase in the Ashanti region, Nana Kwambi Kufuor the first, has barred community members from crossing the Ofen River until the water subsides or bigger canoes are required. This follows the drowning of 4 persons who were part of a group of 10 using a canoe to cross the river. A rescue team has retrieved 3 bodies after hours of search. One more is still trapped in the river. Prince Apia was in the community and filed this report.
Dejection, sadness, and hopelessness remain the mood of members of the New Achiase community in the Chumamponia district as they await several rescue teams in search of those missing underwater. 4 of their young ones drowned in the Ofen River on Friday. 10 of them were trapped when crossing the river to their farms, but 6 were found alive. This is the leader of the rescue team, and we'll speak to him briefly to understand how difficult the situation has been. So what he has been saying is that they went right deep into the Ofen River and they managed to identify the bodies. There were 2, but they were together, and so they tried pulling them out, and unfortunately they were able to get only 1 person. The other is still stuck in the Ofen River. The assemblyman has been explaining that they are waiting for the officials from Environmental Protection Agency and help disinfect the area before they bury this particular body. Meanwhile, the chief of New Achiase, Nana Kwambi Kufuor I, has ordered community members to stop crossing the river Ofen until the situation normalizes. The District Security Council has been on measures to avert recurrence of such incidents. Prince Apia reporting.
Meanwhile, the Ashanti Regional Minister Simon Osei Mensah has been sharing details of the initial findings from their investigations.
The canoe they are talking about has a capacity of 5 people. Unfortunately, I'm told it had 10 people on board. So you can see twice the capacity was on board. And if you have such small canoe, as the weight increases, there's a possibility that it can take some water and the people can get drowned. And when they get drowned and you are like me, who is like a stone when he falls in water, definitely that will be the end of you, because you cannot swim your way out unless you get somebody to rescue you.
That's the Ashanti Regional Minister there on the Ofen situation. I'll take you back to Obeyeye, where my colleague Manuel Kranting has been monitoring how more than 8 households in the area have been caged by floodwaters for close to 2 months now. Manuel, you've been to Oyarifa. You are now at Obeyeye. Paint a picture to us about how different the situation is.
Well, MFR, there's not much that is different between the 2 situations, only for the number of days, if you like, the duration that the situation has persisted. Over here, residents who are affected tell me it's entering the 3rd month. They say they've spoken to authorities. They mentioned NADMO, they mentioned the Municipal Assembly and so on, who have all visited the area and promised to engage a contractor whose work they say has affected the area and which is causing the situation, MFR.
But it's interesting that this has been on for close to 2 months and we are still working on, redeeming them from the situation.
Yes, indeed, MFR. Some of them tell me actually that they have now had cause to, use ladders. So 2 ladders across and against the wall so that they climb out of their houses and climb into their houses by flipping the wall. They say that they have to, after climbing, go out and buy non-perishable food to stock their household so that they can stay in there for the period. What they say is that if they've even got a pump to get the water out of the area, then they can begin exploring other alternatives. But for now, the pool of water which is here doesn't look like it is going anywhere, Mafa.
Okay, that's my colleague Emmanuel Cranting reporting from Obeyeye in the Ga West municipality. I'll take you to the Ashanti region now, the town of Wawase, a farming community in the Efija Kwabre South. Residents there have been thrown into a state of shock and mourning after a 47-year-old man allegedly murdered 3 people. My colleague Ohiming Teria of our security desk is following this particular situation. Give us more details about it.
Thank you, MFA. The entire farming community has been thrown into a state of mourning and shock. According to sources in the community, just this Thursday, a man identified as Percy Balahini went mixing, and his sister reported to the assemblyman that he actually left for farm, but he's yet to return. So a search party was organized for him, and in the evening they couldn't find him. So the following day, that is Friday, and they found his lifeless body with machete wounds in the outskirts of the community. And information in the community indicates that one man, Kojo Eduse, is the man who led him to the farm, and in the process butchered him because according to information that I think in the community, Kojo Eduse allegedly saw the disease, Kwesi Badahene, having an affair with his fiancée in the dream. So the following day, Friday, as people were mourning the demise of Mr. Badahene, then the same suspect, Kojo Eduse, also went to the room of Kwabena and Kroma, and then Kwame Kwache, and in the process stabbed these 2 people to death. So irate youth in the community got wind of it and attacked him, and it took the intervention of the Ankasi police to save him. As we speak, information is that he's just been discharged from the Ankasi Methodist Hospital. But the entire community is in the state of mourning because they know this man as having somebody with a sound mind, and they've been wondering what would come over him for him to murder 3 people within the space of 2 days in this community.
That's my colleague Ohiming Teria reporting from Wawase in the Efija district in the Ashanti region. This is the Midday News here on Joy 99.7 FM. Majority Leader has declared that MPs are in support of the bill in principle, but will do what is right and lawful as he supports a promotion of proper human sexual rights and Ghanaian Family Values Bill 2021. Still to come, we have sport, and then Justice Clemens Wanyanuga had made up his mind and was just waiting to sentence our clients. The comments of lawyers for former Kokobot CEO Dr. Stephen Opuni, more as they urge the Supreme Court to turn down the Attorney General's request to allow the judge join the case again. We have showbiz, doctor, teacher or scientist. We ask our musicians what other profession they would have gone into if they were not singing.
Professionally, I'm a biochemist. So me, I'm both an artist and a scientist.
A graphic designer. I've actually been an evangelist.
This bulletin is live in the Volta region on Jubilee Radio Keta, Volta Premier and Kekali Radio in Ho, Lolonyo FM in Hohoi, Pando FM in Pando, Fafa Radio in Joje, Radio Hogba in Angloga, Klenam Radio Bato, Victory FM Aplao. In the Eastern region, we're on K-Poly Radio in Kofrodia. In the Northern region, we're on Bishara Radio, Radio 123 and Radio Justice in Tamale. And in Savannah region, we're on Inkelege FM in Bole. In the Upper East region, we're live on A1 Radio and Dreams FM in Bogatanga and Radio Fumbese in Fumbese. In Upper West, we're live on Radio Sonmale in Wa, Radio Freed in Nandom, Radio Wa in Wa, and Bolu FM in Bolu. In the Bono East region, we're on Gaskia FM in Techiman. In Bono region, we're on Sky FM and Parrots FM in Sunyai. Central region, we're live on ATL FM in Cape Coast. And in the Western region, we're on Radio Max in Takrady.
This is Joy 99.7 FM. It's the Midday News. Time for sports. Mufta Nabila has all the sporting action. Give it to us.
Black Stars keeper Andre Ayew and Fatau Isahago have been dropped from the starting 11 in the reverse fixture against Zimbabwe in Harare this afternoon. Their places have been taken by Baba Idrisu and Benjamin Tete. Andre, who was on the score sheet in Cape Coast 3 days ago, as his goal sealed all 3 points for Milvan Rivers side on his second debut, has been dropped alongside Fatau Isahago. Benjamin Tete and Baba Idrisu come in place of the duo. The Al-Sadd forward became the 10th player to score 20 goals or more for the Black Stars over the weekend. With 97 appearances, the 31-year-old sits second on the all-time appearance list behind Asamoah Gyan, who has 109 appearances. In Ayew's absence, Thomas Partey steps in as the captain of the side.
Interesting. Why would today Ayew be dropped?
Well, per information available to us, since Milo took over the Black Stars job, he had a conversation with him, telling him that he cannot guarantee him a starting place. So even the game against Zimbabwe at the Cape Coast Sports Stadium, there was a possibility he was not going to start. But he convinced the coach within 48 hours to kick off, and he decided to start him, and unfortunately he couldn't impress him. We've also picked up intel that Andrew has got a groin injury, but that is not the key reason why he has been dropped.
Okay, we'll look forward to the commentary this afternoon, right?
This afternoon, yes. Georgia, the junior, and Ghana Smith will be here.
It must be a win for Ghana, right?
A big one, because it will determine our fate of qualifying to the World Cup.
Thank you very much. From the sporting pitch, let's head to the court, because lawyers of former Kokobot CEO Dr. Stephen Opuni have told the Supreme Court not to set aside its decision to bar Justice Clemens Wanyenuga from hearing his criminal trial. They say the judge had simply made up his mind that Dr. Opuni is guilty and determined to just go through the ritual of trial while waiting to pronounce sentence. The Supreme Court, in a close score 3-2 decision in July this year, restrained Justice Clemens Wanyenuga from hearing the case following allegations of bias. Justice Wanyenuga, the Justice of the Supreme Court, has since 2017 been hearing the case as an additional High Court judge. The AG says not permitting him to hear the matter will amount to a miscarriage of justice. Joseph Akable, court correspondent, was there and joins us in studio. Joseph, please, first tell us about the 5 judges that heard the case and the 2 who have joined for the review.
And so Justices Jones, Doche and Lovelace Johnson were the dissenting 2 in that 3-2 decisions. The 3 that made the majority included Justices Gabriel Poamine, Amadou Tanko, and Agnes Doji. They are joined by Justices Gertrude Tokonu and Professor Ashikote for the review decision.
So it turns out the AG was in court with his 2 deputies. Explain why he believes not allowing the judge will amount to a miscarriage of justice.
He says Justice Wanyenuga's ruling, in which the court was asked to intervene, bordered on a submission of no case. Hence, the Supreme Court can only intervene when a judge committed an obvious error. He argues this is not the case, but rather the court took issues with the judge simply applying the position of the law as interpreted by the Supreme Court in a previous case. He also said that an allegation of bias was not proved, in line with a settled test that the Supreme Court has applied in various cases.
So Dr. Opuni's lawyers disagree. What more did they say?
They say the comments the judge made in the submission of no case ruling shows he was just waiting to pronounce a sentence. He had concluded that the accused person was indeed guilty, and so they say that as far as they are concerned, the judge should be stopped from hearing the matter, and so the court has adjourned to October 26 to deliver its ruling.
Thank you very much. That's our court correspondent, Joseph Akable. There's more of that on myjoyonline.com. It's time for Showbiz. Mapitso Sibidi is here.
Hello, birthday girl.
Hello,
You're
Mapitso.
looking very gorgeously, fantastically, beautifully delicious.
Like you.
It's the shoes for me. All right, but Emefa, what would you have been doing if you were not a journalist?
A nurse.
A nurse?
Yes.
Why?
And that's what my father wanted me to do.
Oh, really?
Yes.
All right, so we've been asking some musicians what other profession they would have gone into if they were not singing, and this is what they had to say.
You know, professionally, I'm a biochemist. So after the whole music career, you know what's up? A graphic designer, big time graphic designer.
A big time graphic designer?
Yes.
I've actually been an evangelist.
Okay.
Yes, I love doing the work of God, and I would love going to places like I'm doing. But if not a musician, not singing, I will still hold the Bible and do the work of God.
All right, so that was Ohima Mercy.
What about you?
Flo Kingston. Honestly, I don't know.
Okay.
Because I've always been like the TV radio person.
Yeah.
But let's go to Twitter quickly. Trending at number 1 is DB, number 2 is Benjamin Tete, and at number 3 is Jordan Dede. Andre, are you trending? And DB is all about the rich young boys and girls. Everybody wants to date a DB.
What's in there?
Sika.
Okay. Well, that's it for the midday news here on Joy 99.7 FM. There's more news when you log on to myjoyonline.com. Our top stories. Justice Onyenuga was just waiting to sentence Opuni. Lawyer tells Supreme Court Speaker cannot determine passage of anti-LGBTQ plus bill on behalf of Parliament Majority Leader. Also there, Mahama begins third phase of Thank You Tour in Eastern Region today. Afarijan Domahene declares support for anti-LGBTQ bill. You can visit myjoyonline.com for more. We have self-government with Pastor Mensa Otabil. That's for Living Word. I am Emefa Apau. Thanks so much for your company. Have a good day.
Hello, please, am I speaking to Miss Joanna Kuma?
Yes, please.
My name is Philip and I'm calling from MTN. Someone has just sent you money and we will need you to enter your PIN number so that we can put the money in your account.
Hey,
oh dada, MTN will never ask you for your PIN. Never reveal your PIN to anyone under any circumstances. And if you are not sure, always check the number.